Hello and welcome to all you Scorpios. Welcome to your monthly horoscope for Scorpio for June 2014. Now last month it was all about Venus. This month it's all about Mercury. And it's a Mercury retrograde. And I know that a lot of people think, oh, Mercury retrograde, that is a bit difficult. But first of all, these always have a meaning. These always have a purpose. It's not happening to annoy people. It's happening because people need to slow down on a particular area of life. Just as happened with the Mars, this is now happening with Mercury retrograde. But it is in a sign of Gemini that it really loves there. So it's in its own sign. It already shows that a lot of improvements can be made by standing still and by doing the reviewing, the rethinking of that particular area that is having the transit. So for you it will be the 8th house and the 9th house. Now the 8th house is the house of Scorpio. So I think for most Scorpios it won't be that tough. Of course, this is a general horoscope. I can't do the individual horoscope, but normally, because it's happening in a water house, and it's happening, and you're a water sign, and it's also happening in your kind of house, I think you can get a lot of improvements after the Mercury goes direct again, which will be next month. So, but as I said, there is this Mercury retrograde going into two different signs. So in the beginning of the month, Mercury is in Cancer, and that will be in your 9th house. And Mercury will go into Cancer up until 3 degrees. Then it stops, and that will be on the 8th, around the 8th of the month. And then it goes backwards, back into the 8th house, and then for the rest of the month in that 8th house. What does it mean? It means that you will get in the beginning of the month a sneak preview of what this is all about. And it is for you, for Scorpios, it's about the 9th house. These are the results that can be made, the improvements is the 9th house. But the work will have to be done in the 8th house. So what can be the improvement of Mercury in the 9th house? It is about, the 9th house is a very important house. It's the house of our belief system. It's a house that has to do with our morals, that has to do with good and bad, and Scorpios are interested in that. It's the house about astrology. It's the house of God. And if you don't believe in God, it's the house of the universe, you could say, or of the higher consciousness. So it's a very important house. If that house, if there are good intentions there, it has benefits for the whole horoscope. So that's the deal. With the work that needs to be done in the 8th house, and I'll talk about that in a minute, you will gain a stronger belief. You will gain a better vision, a vision that you are, that you agree with, a vision of yourself, and a, how do you say that, a conviction, or it's also the house of opinions. So certain opinions that you have, certain ideas that you believe in, there is a tendency to become stronger there. And if you become, and Scorpios really like that, because if they believe in something, it's like in body, mind and soul that they do. And therefore, they have such an impact on their own lives and on lives of others. So that's why Scorpio is such a strong sign. It can go, and probably it will be by going through the shadow sides that you will know what your belief system is all about. You will know what the good moral is all about, and you will have those consequences of better relationships, better work, etc., just because you've started there with the intention. It all starts with the intention. And these are two houses that are connected to that. It's the 9th house, but also the 11th. Now, this 9th house may not sound that tangible, but actually it's a very a house that you can benefit from as a Scorpio tremendously. So next month already, when Mercury goes direct in that house. So it's there to broaden your mind. So Scorpios always go very deep, but to broaden your mind is to going also not only with being having a focus, going in depth, but also by seeing and understanding the bigger picture and the meaning why things happen to you. So there will be, whatever happens to you, there will be a bigger understanding of the meaning of why things happen as they happen. You will see in some sort of way the greater context around that. And that always gives a relief, notwithstanding the fact things go difficult for us. Now, what is the work that needs to be done with the Mercury in the 8th house in Gemini? Well, I think that you're really going to like that quite well, because, as I said, Mercury is there in a house that is your house, and the 8th house is all about transformation. It's all about values of other people. It's all about trust. It's all about fear and overcoming that fear. It's all about our shadows, our taboos. So your thoughts will be on that particular area of your life. Also death and rebirth. That is all 8th house issues, or the occult, the metaphysical. So maybe you're going to be more focusing on that. So whatever it is, digging deep and standing still, because that's what Mercury retrograde is all about. And I think you Scorpios, you have patience for that. You can get a little bit frustrated as well when things are not going your way, but you have the patience because you know that the end goal is that improvement of the 9th house. That's why it's all about. That's why you do the digging of the Mercury in the 8th house. So digging more into again shadow in the shadow world, in the own we also know, don't we, that when we face those fears that we have, sometimes it also has to do with control and with letting go. And the Scorpios really know that as well, that sometimes it can be tiny little bit obsessed by something, but by being obsessed is actually dealing with fears, because at a certain level you let go and then you have the transformation, which is all about Scorpio. So I think whatever inner work it is that you're doing, it has to do with those 8th house issues. And so it will come, I think for most Scorpios, it will come natural to spend some time more with your own thoughts on your own, and then improving and making your belief system stronger, that you can have a more joyful life. Because if you believe what you do and what you are all about, you feel better about yourself. That's as simple as it is, and you become stronger as well. Now, that point that Mercury goes retrograde, so as from the 8th of the month, is 3 degrees of Cancer. And there is a new moon as well on 3 degrees of Cancer at the end of the month on the 27th. So again, it shows new beginnings there. That's a new moon. New beginnings when it comes to your perspective on life, but on a very, not on a day-to-day life, but on a very high, you could say you're standing on the top of a rock and seeing your life in a broader perspective, which is more interesting than just seeing in front of you. You don't see the whole situation. So you will gain more information, and funny enough, it will be detailed information, but it will broaden your view upon things. And that 3 degrees of Cancer, there's also a fixed star there, which is called Propus, Propus, and which is again about ideas and expressing them in a very acceptable and reasonable way. What it means is that it's not always it's only interesting having ideas and having great ideas only when we can manage it and getting it into practice. So this is also very much about this Mercury retrograde. So I think for Scorpio you can gain a lot of growth upon your view upon life and your understanding in general. So, and that's what Scorpio want. They want to understand themselves, and therefore, of course, they understand other people very well. Now, thanks for watching. If you want a personal reading, get in touch. I wish you a very good month, you Scorpios, and see you next month. Bye-bye.